Hiya, welcome to my very messy bench. I just want to demonstrate and show you around a Ferrograph Logic 7 with Dolby. This is my own unit. I've just restored this. I just completed restoring it. It was in quite a bad way when I bought it. I spent a lot of money on it. £500 this cost me. And it was in a state, a real state. So I've gradually restored it, and yeah, it's all working perfectly now. This one has 15 IPS, 7.5 IPS, and 3 3/4 inches IPS. So this is the one I'm going to keep. If I'm going to sell one of my Ferrographs, it would be the Logic 7. Because the Logic 7 is 7.5, 3 3/4, and 1 7/8, and I would probably prefer the slightly faster speed. Although I must say, on the Super 7, the 7.5 inch is just fantastic, and it's difficult. I mean, it's hard to believe that it is 7.5 really, because the quality is that good. So I'll just show you around this. Obviously, this is what differs with the Logic. You have the Logic controls here. This mute button here, unmuted, you can hear everything you're rewinding and fast forwarding, because the tape on these is always touching the heads. There's no tape lifter on there. So put this into mute mode. When you rewind and fast forward, you can't hear the sound off the tape. It doesn't overload the unit. You have line in, left and right, microphone in separate. You have a bass and treble on each channel. There's one there, tape and source obviously. You have a tape transfer, upper to lower, lower to upper. You have Dolby that you can switch in, and MPX. And this is the load and release button here. You see, when I release, it makes it easier to load the tape. When I load it, you notice that a light went out. Just briefly inside here, this is the Logic board full of relays. This is what the brains of the unit, but as you can see by the size of the resistors and capacitors in there, it's quite a simple affair. It's not like surface mount ICs or whatever, which is would be a problem if they went wrong as far as spares go. This is all pretty much spares that you can get hold of, so that make these really good. In there, I don't know if you can just about see that, there's a sensor there. There we go, you see it just there. There's a movement sensor there, which is very similar to modern recorders. Here you have a beefy solenoid for the brakes. Obviously the brakes are applied at the moment, but when this comes in, the reels are free to move. So that's better than your average solenoid really, I think. Really well made. Tape counter. There we are. I had to replace that belt. Another thing is, one channel didn't work at all, so I had to restore that, and the heads were really dirty, but they were still good, and they're pretty good heads. These they do wear very well actually. There are spares available as well if you need them. They're not like some TIAC heads were quite soft, and there's quite a few machines that had soft heads, but these heads aren't soft. They're wearite heads, and they last a long time. I demonstrated an SP7 a while ago, and apparently the SP7's got a problem at the moment. I think the person that bought it off me laid it on its back. I think it actually dropped actually, and it's knocked this out of adjustment. And what this is, there's a solenoid which pulls this flap in, and that pulls the pinch roller up. You see, if I move the pinch roller slightly, you can see the flat moving. Now there is an adjustment down there with 2 screws that you can adjust the position of this flat and the position of the pinch roller. The position of the pinch roller has got to be so far away from this capstan. It can't be too close from the capstan, otherwise you're going to get problems. So it has to be precisely adjusted, and underneath this plate there are 2 screws that you can use to adjust this position here, and obviously the distance of this pinch roller. So there's a lot of little things to set up. I've already done the brakes on this. I've replaced the 3 idlers. Yeah, that's the state of them. They're completely falling to bits. Thank God they weren't didn't have tar all over the place. The pinch roller was actually all right for some reason. I don't know, maybe the pinch roller was replaced before, but yeah, so it's all working now, and I'll just play it so you can see what it sounds like. This is Harold McNair. It's a jazz club, and yeah, it's one of the job lot of tapes that I got in at one point. I like this jazz music. I like different sorts of music, really. Classical, jazz, everything really, pop, a lot. Even one modern singer, Sabrina Claudio, but otherwise most modern music I'm not really into, really. I'm more of an 80s person, 70s person, or 60s, but nothing much after the year 2000, apart from a few bands like Turin Breaks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of jazz and anything sort of easy listening, really. But here we go. Just press run. I just threaded the tape in, so I'll wait for it to start. I'll show you the wind after this. Well, in fact, I've shown you the wind. This varies the speed of the wind. That's playing on its own speakers. Press wind. Right, now I want to wind forward, so I can choose whatever speed I want, just like the other fantastic. That's full lick. I mean, that is really going. That's a really strong wind. There's something making a noise there. I think it's this little bearing there needs some oil. Anyway, let's see what we got at this point. Oh, there we go. Tape's just jumped off, actually. Stop. See, it's gone into reset here. The tape jumped off there, so that's obviously an adjustment that needs to be done somewhere. I'm not going to edit this bit out, because these old machines, they can be a little bit temperamental. It's not as though it's a brand new Tascam or anything like that that's got impeccable manners. These have the odd little foible, but oh yeah, I need to put this on here. Yeah.
Wallace Pop with my Sonny Rollins with Helen McNair there on tenor. He switches to alto for this next one, a ballad version of a thing entitled Everything Happens to Me.
I don't know if you can hear that. It's absolutely unbelievable. This is 7.5 IPS, and this came off 3 3/4 tape, but the sound quality is just incredible. You can really hear the sort of openness and the depth there. It's incredible. I'd be hard pushed to find that on one of my modified CD players, to be honest with you. It's really, really good. As I've said before, Ferrograph, I mean, they just go for ridiculously low money most of the time. I mean, you can get a 7, Series 7, which is the first upright one that they made, in a high-speed version or standard. I've noticed that 2 have gone recently on eBay for, I think one was £170 or something, and the other one was 225. But that sort of money, you know, would buy you, you know, one of these, an Akai. I mean, but there's just no comparison between a Ferrograph and a single motor Akai that's so popular. There's no comparison. They're complete leagues apart. And these were supposed to be better than Ferrograph, but there's absolutely no way that they are. They're superbly built, superb quality. I mean, and basically there wasn't much wrong with this after years of sitting there, and it's a really old unit. This is from probably, I would say, about 1978, something like that, or even earlier than that. There was nothing wrong with it apart from a few little adjustments. The fuse in the back for one channel, there's a fuse on either channel. The fuse on this channel it just got tarnished, so I just cleaned the fuse up, put the fuse back in, and then this meter lit up again. It wasn't lighting up before, and a little bit of mechanical adjustment, and it's running fine after being not used for a long time. So, but Revoxes, I mean, I've got a box of boards over there for Revoxes. I've had so much trouble with Revoxes, including one that I bought that actually started smoking badly. But these are just great. I mean, they sound a lot better than the Revox, and in fact, I'm gonna, once I do up my Tascam, get my Tascam working again, and that Tascam is supposed to be the best 1/4-inch tape machine ever available, and that's according to a guy called Sam on Tape Heads, and he's service centre for Tascam. But these Ferrographs just completely slaughter anything that I've heard. The only other machine I can really recommend is the Tascam TSR8 if you want a modern machine with location points. That's a 1/2-inch machine. TSR8 is superb as well, but this is great. This is a half track, but for a half track machine on 1/4-inch tape, the results you get from it are just outstanding. So anyway, I may post another video on this at some point, but I hope this video has been useful. Thanks for watching.